But guys, today we're going to review Fatal Frame or Project Zero, depending on where you're from, Maiden of Blackwater. Now, Fatal Frame or Project Zero, Maiden of Blackwater, originally released back on September 27th, 2014, and it's coming to the 9th gen consoles, obviously PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, on the 28th of October 2021. And just a fair warning, if you guys are of a nervous disposition, you don't like jump scare games, or you've got a heart condition, or you scare very easily, this isn't the video for you. However, for everyone else, this is a fantastic horror game, and we're just in time for Halloween, fortunately. I was a little bit worried about this year's lineup, as there don't seem to be that many good kind of horror games coming out. And I'd just like to say thank you very much to Koei Tecmo for sending me over a code for Fatal Frame Maiden of Blackwater, so that we can get the review up well in time for release. Now, Maiden of Blackwater is a very ominous, alluring, kind of deep, dark atmosphere game. It's essentially a walking simulator where you're given a camera. However, that description does it a disservice, as it is an incredibly good version of such a game. Now, you start off playing as one of three of the main characters, either Yuri, Ren or Mew. You start the game as Mew herself, where you wake up essentially in a half-flooded building where things kind of pretty much go to shit immediately after you waking up. You're surrounded by ghosts, you need to escape, and if you're not a fan of being chased, again, this one is going to make you feel a little bit tingly. Now, given Koei Tecmo's background on things like the Ninja Gaiden series, obviously the Neo 2 games, they're all really fast-paced action games. This one manages to slow everything down and just gives you a very kind of unsettling sense that there's always going to be something around the corner. And 9 times out of 10, there is. There could either be a ghost hanging in the corner, you could turn around and there could be something straight in your face. 9 times out of 10, any ghost that you encounter will try and grab hold of you and kind of, it's almost like they're trying to strip you of your life essence to try and bring themselves back to life, and all you're armed with is a camera. However, you can use your camera and the flash on that camera in certain different angles to be able to exorcise the ghosts, getting rid of them essentially, removing the threat. Now, when I first played this part in the game, I thought to myself that it was a bit crap and I really didn't like it. However, after playing it a lot more, you can see just how smooth it makes kind of the ghost encounters when the ghosts turn hostile. It really does bring a new sense of, this is an incredibly good style of combat that I've never in my life seen before. I know games like Outlast where you've got a camcorder, but that's literally kind of a perspective sort of thing. It's not actually any form of attack. Whereas the flash on the camera on this one, providing you can line it up properly and get all of the spectral kind of spheres in the same picture as you take it, you'll deal maximum damage to the ghost, exercising it a lot quicker. However, that said, you do need to be very quick at this, as the ghosts are very unforgiving. You have a couple of chances to exercise a ghost. If you don't manage it, then you're in for a bad day. Now, there does seem to be a few fetch elements in the game as well, some kind of little puzzle elements. It's not over the top, it is manageable. It's kind of the atmosphere that makes it seem a lot more threatening than it actually is. If you can see past the fact that the ghosts and everything else that's coming after you are just on screen and not actually, you know, sitting next to you or sitting behind you in your living room, then you can have a much more enjoyable time with the game. However, if you're like my wife, you play this sort of game and you're constantly shaking because things are chasing you. Either way, it is a very fun time of a game, and given Halloween's just around the corner, turn the lights off, put some headphones on and get ready to shit your pants. Now, as you play through, the story can be a little bit hard to kind of figure out what's going on, as you switch between 3 different players throughout the various chapters in the game, and each one of them, they kind of have their own abilities. They can each kind of focus on something called shadow reading, where they can go after like trace elements of where some people have been killed in the past. We then need to go through and find clues, potentially exercising the victims as they try and come after you. Now, audio-wise, the game does an absolutely fantastic job of setting a presence of basically terror. It's a bone-shaking musical score that they put in. The voices that the ghosts have, the groaning, the moaning, all the kind of usual stuff that you'd associate with a horror game, are all present here, and they're all beautifully done. Especially if you're playing it on PS5, the DualSense controller kind of vibrates whenever there's ghosts around and they're being hostile. And if you're not ready for it, just that extra little kind of vibration in your hands is enough just to be like, whoa, what was that? It kind of adds that extra layer of depth to the game, and it's beautifully done, like I say. But it's not all good though, unfortunately. The control system, even though it's a walking simulator, you can constantly be either kind of walking into walls, or it just feels a little bit out of date. You got to hold down either L2 or LT, obviously depending on your console, to run, which is fair enough. But the kind of left stick as you maneuver yourself is so sensitive. When you're running away from a ghost and you just ever so gently touch the left stick, you're straight into the wall. It's like it just needs dialing back just a few touches, which hopefully they can do in a future patch. Also, going back to the kind of camera combat, if you like, with the camera obscura, as it's called, it just, I don't know, it's really, really good when it works. If you get kind of one spectral orb that's just outside the rotation of your camera, and then you miss your shot, the ghost comes straight back after you. It's almost like they're straight back up to full health, and you need to start the fight again, which is a fair enough system. Just as a player, I don't know, I potentially want it to be a little bit more forgiving, but then again, I think that would take away from the game. So I'm not 100% sure if it's a negative. It just feels like it needs tweaking to be a little bit smoother. As the spectral orbs can move around, you can rotate the kind of depth of view of your camera, but I don't know, it just needs a bit of a polish. And the graphics as well. Even though it's on PlayStation 5, I'm playing it on a 4K Ultra HD TV. The graphics do look a little bit out of date. Whilst it's a beautiful game, don't get me wrong. The way that everything's kind of done, it's set up, the atmospherics, the look of the areas that you go through, the kind of, especially the water effects, they all look really, really good. The cutscenes are really, really, really impressive. Then the text boxes that come up on screen, they just look a little bit PS2-ish. Maybe PS3, but considering the game came out in 2014, it's been re-released at the tail end of 2021. Granted, the game's £33. It's not a £60, £70 game. If it was, obviously this review would be going a completely different way. I think they've priced it absolutely spot on for the time of year. 33 quid, I think that's a really fair price. I just think they could have taken the text boxes and the text itself and just given it kind of a more modernised look. But that said, it would obviously completely take away from what the original was. This isn't a remake. If anything, it's kind of an unmarketed remaster, if you like. It's, I understand that they've stayed true to the 2014 release, and personally, that's fantastic. Just for me, obviously, tail end of 2021, with so many other games that we've had released this year, it would have just been nice to see an extra level of polish on this release. However, the game itself, like I say, it plays brilliantly. The story's fantastic. The setting and the atmosphere, absolutely brilliant. Like I say, turn the lights off, put the headphones on, and get yourself a fresh pair of shorts, because you're going to need them. And I also think that they've waited until the perfect year to release this game, as the rest of the Halloween lineup that's releasing on console, well, we don't really have a Halloween lineup that's releasing on console, so any kind of gaming horror fans are chomping at the bit for any sort of release, especially this time of year. Fatal Frame, Maiden of Blackwater will be a fantastic addition to your game library and well worth a go. Now, overall, I'm going to give Fatal Frame or Project Zero Maiden of Blackwater a very well-deserved 8 out of 10, mainly for the atmospherics that the game provides. It is a very kind of jump-scary experience that sets out to scare you, and it does a very, very good job. I'm not someone that scares very easily, especially at games, like I said earlier in the review. I'm more than aware that these guys are only on screen. I haven't got any kind of water ghosts or any sort of other ghost standing behind me, thankfully. Let's have a quick check. No, just a wall. Lovely, lovely. I can sleep a bit better tonight. But the game just does an incredibly good job of putting you in that scenario and making you terrified. And I really appreciate that. So there guys, that's my review of Fatal Frame or Project Zero Maiden of Black Water. I do hope it's helped you out. If it has, hit the like button. Let me know down in the comments if you're going to be picking up Maiden of Black Water, what console you're going to be getting on and what you thought of it. Also, as I'm kind of getting into these reviews more and more here at Griffin's Gaming Guides, let me know what you think of the format. If there's anything that you change, let me know down there. I'm always interested to hear your guys' opinions. Obviously, the subscribers and the viewers are what make this channel work. And I'm always interested in constructive criticism. It is, after all, how we grow as people. Also, once you're down there in the comments, you're going to see a little red button that says subscribe. Give that a click, then press the notification bell next to it. That way you won't miss out on any of our future uploads. You guys look after yourselves, and we'll see you back here at Griffin's Gaming Guides.